Good morning, everyone, and welcome on AIS channel and Facebook platform with Dr. Ajit, just to share with you some more tips as we always talk about for our health and the issues which always keep catching us and what Ayurveda share with us. And as you all know, when we talk about what Ayurveda share with us, it is not something a new age concept or new age information which is generated through our artificial intelligence or some other concept on the social media. What I always have shared with all of you, the information what our ancient sages and seer has given us in our various ancient texts, whether we talk about Charka, whether we talk about Sushruta, Ashtang Hridaya, or more deeper our text. So today's subject, I'm sure many of you must be very much aware, and some of you must be concerned too. If I won't say fearful, but concern is something we all should be. And what is that? That why heart attacks are now getting more and more common, and especially in our young and fit people. When I talk about fit, definition of fit is something we always look at in today's concept, and that is why you will see people want to be fit in regard to their muscles, six abs, and look much more leaner. Or maybe you can say, no, this is not true. We are building our stamina. Fine, right? And then there are so many of our professionals who are in a competitive mode all the time, which they have because that is what their career path is. And then even many of them are getting heart attacks, and especially you might have read even doing exercise on treadmill or some other exercise in the gym, people are getting heart attacks there. And then sometime many high profile speakers or researchers, professionals, while giving lectures in the big audience, they get heart attacks. So one wonder what is happening, why this is happening. But sad part is everyone want to have their own thoughts, their own theories, and everyone want to be in a more defensive mode. When I say defensive mode now, when we talk about this issue happening in young and fit people and those who are having a history of going to gym and trying to keep themselves fit from their perspective, gym people are trying to talk about that it is nothing to do with the gym or like that. So what I'm trying to very briefly share here, everyone is interested in their own sort of sphere, on businesses, that it does not affect us because social media's time and these news can make and break someone's business or like that. But one thing what we all need to understand, that it has nothing to do with anyone's business or what is happening. What Ayurveda has shared with us in our ancient text, very simply, that heart attack, why it happened, how it can happen. And when we are not looking into that bigger concept and try to get into small segments and symptoms, that is where our problems are coming up. And when I say bigger concept, one will wonder, what is a bigger concept? And now, when you look at the bigger concept, simple understanding is, when you go to a cardiologist, he or she will give you clear understanding, clear concept that your cholesterol is getting high, your arteries are getting blocked, and that's what you are getting heart attack. Hence, you have to reduce your cholesterol, and here we go. This is your medicine. You are already on 15 mg. Now you can take it to 25 mg, or you will take another one. Now, if you go to a dietitian, which again will be advised by your cardiologist, he or she will look at your diet and they will say, oh, no. Your diet is really getting very different and very messy. You are having this kind of fat. You should not have that. Remove all these things. You need to go on your simple, only vegetable, lean meat you need to eat, because no one can give up meat. Then on top of that, if you look at some other aspect, to some personal coach and other thing, they will start giving you more precise exercises. And in spite of all this, that issue which we just started, that heart attack in young and fit, still not being looked at, because still that process, that problem is persisting with us. And it is not decreasing, it is always increasing. And then the stats are giving us very clear understanding on that. So one wonder what exactly happening. And if that is where you will see, if you read sincerely Ayurvedic text or seek the advice of an Ayurvedic doctor who is following Ayurvedic traditional principles, he or she should be able to give you that there are many factors which has been advised in Ayurveda, and time is coming now that we should give up our egos and we should all must sit together to work out such a program for our community, for our people, that how they can be educated, how we can make them aware that how they should protect their heart while living their normal life. We should not be thinking that I'm a medical doctor, I don't need to talk to someone else. Time is coming up, government has to be involved and work out with medical specialists, Ayurvedic practitioners, or if there are some other traditional medicines practitioner, whether you call it Chinese medicine, because you have to look at only those kind of practitioners who have their own physiology, on pathologies, on principles. Western physiology and Western pathology for that our Western doctors are sufficient. You don't need any other kind of practitioners to be involved. But those medicines which has been there for thousands of years, it is a time now that at a higher level those practitioners must come together to create something for our community. So that's the one aspect I just shared with that, because what we all are, and we all need to accept that we have our own fear as a practitioners, and we have our own egos, that how come any other one can do something if I'm a cardiologist, or if I'm a heart specialist, or if I'm a doctor. So that's one aspect. But coming back where my focus is that what Ayurveda can offer you. Ayurveda clearly define that first of all your lifestyle, then your diet, and then your mental and emotional factors need to be looked at. And I will go one by one so I can give you some understanding that what exactly happening in the heart attack and why these problems are coming up. So let's look at first of all a fit person. Any fit person from our definition will be given a specific kind of a diet and exercise plan by someone to keep themselves fit. But what Ayurveda talk about, that even though you all look like the same, but each individual has a unique body makeup, what we call as your prakriti. And according to that, your compatibility and incompatibility to various substances will be totally unique. And you must follow your diet, your lifestyle, your exercise regime according to your constitution. And if that is not being followed, no matter how good dietitian, nutritionist has given you a plan, that plan is not going to work. Reason is, something which is compatible to you might not compatible to the other person, and that can cause so many complications which contribute towards depositing the plaque in your arteries at a first place. Then the second aspect, which again Ayurveda talked loud and clear, that no matter whatever you have eaten, if that food does not metabolize properly, that food is bound to create ama or toxins, you can understand in simple language, and that will lead to those toxins to get deposited in your arteries. Now this is one aspect. I know this is not in a classroom, I cannot go over this subject the whole day, but I'm trying to give you some tips so that you can understand that why these problems are happening with all of us. So that's one part. Now on the other aspect is, when we are talking about our physical fitness and look like that I'm perfectly fit, even you are a professional athlete, player, or a politician, or in a high profile job you are doing, or whatever you are doing in your life, no one look at the mental factor, which is the key strength of Ayurveda. In Ayurvedic science, we always talk about that more than 95% impact on your well-being is from the mental aspect. And then mental aspect, when we talk about from our Western perspective, we loudly shout that mental health, and mental health need to be looked at. And from our Western perspective, mental health means you need to be becoming aware if you are going through some stress or anxiety, so that you can take some immediate intervention. And what is immediate intervention is that you can be on antidepressant and you can start those kind of drugs so that you can prevent some more issues. Ayurveda talk about that this has nothing to do with taking antidepressant or anti-anxiety pills or sleeping pill. We need to look at that what are the core cause behind that anxieties or panic attack or stress or feeling depression or all that part. Because that component is the biggest player in the heart attack in the professional people. While they are having a constant advice from their cardiologist, their nutritionist, week by week their diet is being monitored and that is given to them, but no one look at what is the state of that person's mind and how that is being taken care of. Unless that part has been clearly resolved, and resolved is not suppressing like symptoms. It has to be processed, it has to be analyzed that what are the issues happening. And that is where the biggest part of heart attacks nowadays coming up. You talk to anyone, these fit people, and look at their deep down in the life. They are living atom bombs. When I say living atom bombs, means I'm just trying to keep it lighter, that they are going through so many issues in their life. Competitive part is one thing. No one wants to accept the failures. But then at the same time, that element, how it is impacting their nervous system, and then how the nervous system impact all the time heart, no one wants to get that into correlation. So until or unless that aspect is being taken care of, problems will always keep increasing. Then on top of that, every fit person, whether it again the professionals or whether it is high profile CEOs or other people or even normal human beings like us, right, who are living our life the way we can. We might be very keen, very much interested to look at our diet, but we never look at what other substances are going and how they are impacting this state of my health. And when I talk about, look at alcohol, look at even other mind-altering drugs, many of us are always into that, either small, either too much indulgence. That can definitely go individually, but that is a reality. And we feel that I am drinking alcohol or I am having this beer or a bit of marijuana or some other mind-altering drugs just to feel relaxed. And that is a biggest indicator that something is going deep down. And we all know what is volcano. Volcano will never erupt on a daily basis, but it will erupt. When it erupts, it will cause, we all know what it causes. And that is what impact our heart attack also. So that is one aspect. But now problem is, who is going to look into that? If you're going to a practitioner who himself is into alcohol every night and then also have a weekly marijuana or some other drugs, how he or she is going to tell you that this is a bad substance? And that is where the role of Ayurvedic medicine comes up, where it is a mandatory part that Ayurvedic learning will give you, those all who are keen to learn Ayurveda and keen to learn Ayurveda in a traditional way, that these causes, what we call as our samprapti or pathogenesis of each disease, will be taught to those all students in a more specific way, so that they can structure a plan for their client more precisely and prevent such big disaster happening in anyone's life, and one can live in a much more healthy state. So that's the one aspect comes up. Then we are looking into the diet part. Diet, again, when I mentioned earlier that nutritionists and dietitians are planning their diet, right? More bigger the person you are in your high profile, more comforts you have with you to take the services of such professionals. And when your diets are being planned, you will be given that 20 grams of this, 40 grams of that, 80 grams of this, fat, protein, carb, all will be given. And now no one is going to understand that how these foods are going to metabolize. That's one aspect. Then the second aspect is the quality of that fat, that carb, that protein is being given to them. And those are the ones which are going to impact the qualities of our tissues. In Ayurveda we talk about, we have 7 tissues. And when we talk about the arteries, where all these deposits are happening and the blood is moving, the arteries are also involved in the structural part we talk about, is the mamsa dhatu. Mamsa means muscles, tissues. And muscles are made from the fat, this protein component. But then to metabolize protein, you need right amount of the fat, because protein metabolism is always causing more and more dryness and roughness when the metabolic process we are going to talk now a bit more detail. And when the quality of your muscle tissues is not good quality, then what will happen? The lumen of those arteries have more easy tendency to collapse. Collapse means what will happen when you are going through these all various components in your life, stress, anxiety, that's the mental factor, then the lifestyle factor, right? And because when you are doing exercise, the blood is coming up more, right? And that flow will impact, because artery has to expand and contract. Now, due to all these components, when the quality of the muscles, tissues, and then the blood quality is not to the optimum. Now someone will say, what you mean by quality? That is another very big subject to talk about. It will be not appropriate for me to take that much, but just that is where your Ayurvedic practitioner should be able to help you. So when those arteries start getting constricted, and more impact will happen on the flow of the blood, and hence the blockages can happen. Yes, blockages always will be more chances coming from that plaque is coming up and that deposit, and then on top of that, the quality of the plaque is another thing. And someone will now raise their eyebrows that how come? Does the plaque also has an quality? Yes, that is what Ayurveda is all about. Ayurveda will give you the quality of the ama or the toxins which are getting formed, and that all get formed from the food what you have eaten, then your state of the mind and lifestyle. And because in our body we have 3 biological humors, or we call them as doshas, which are governing every function in our body. And then at a mental level, we have 3 gunas, qualities of sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, which are impacting your every cell. So all these will play a role in creating the qualities of that ama. And when that ama is depositing in those arteries, it will have a different kind of impact. So sometime when you have a much more thicker and heavier plaque deposit in the form of ama, that might take more time to get detached or broken, what we call it in simple language, and then causing more and more blockages. If it is deposit, it might stick there for a longer time, and when you are doing your exercises or you are under so much pressure, that plaque might not break up and not going to lead to causing you the issues what we are talking about. But when that quality of the plaque, based on your food and other things what you are eating, and the type of the food being advised is more and more processed. One example I will give you, even if we talk about now the milk, because the first consideration from all nutritionists and dietitians nowadays comes up that dairy product is the bad product. Yes, in dairy products we talk about cheese, we talk about sour cream, we talk about other aspect. But even when you are talking about milk, they will say no milk for you. What you need is you get into plant-based milk, whether it is soya milk, whether it is almond milk or oat milk or rice milk. And if you go into those qualities of the food, they are the contributory factor in producing more and more ama in your body. So that is a one simple example. And then the other advice comes up, taking all kind of fat from the food of those people away. That is why what you call them nowadays, these air fryer or something, these kind of new equipments, which people very fashionably try to tell that I eat food always in the air fryer and not having any oil to be used. And one basic concept what Ayurveda always has given in nutrition, that whenever you are eating your food, you need oleation to metabolize it properly. For God's sake, or I will say by the blessing of God, this thought is coming up in many practitioners' mind now. They have started understanding that yes, when we talk about nutrition, biggest focus has to be in the gut, that how your food is metabolized. But then still they are very much far off from the quality of the food and then the type of the food they should be advising to their client. And these are the basic contributory factor towards your heart attack in the young and fit people, because they have inability to handle their pressure, they have inability to handle whatever in their life failure, success is coming up. Because in Ayurveda we talk about very simply that when you are getting successful, success brings so much responsibilities. Success does not mean that you need to start getting more and more flattened ego. That is going to be the first step toward the graveyard. We all know that, but no one wants to work on that. And hence, if today we are concerned about that why a young and fit person is getting heart attack, answer is very simple, that there are so much gap in their advice or the advice given to them by whoever. And if those people or every one of us who are concerned that why we should get heart attack even if I am fit, you don't need to worry, you don't need to be concerned. Only one thing you need to do, follow Ayurvedic lifestyle, follow Ayurvedic advice from a practitioner for your diet. But the most important component is sit with that practitioner who has the ability to give you Ayurvedic psychology and counseling component to handle your all those mental factors, because you might be looking at a 6 feet tall young person with big muscles and 6 abs and very physically fit, right? But if you deep down have that churning happening, and if you are not in a position to handle your all those issues what are going in your mind on a day-to-day basis, you cannot leave them for next day. You are bound to cause problem. Yes, pressure can come up in our life. We are living in such a era that where life is a bit hectic. We agree that you can't sit back. You have to be competitive. You have to be always on your toe. But striking a balance is the very important part. And striking a balance is most important is your state of mind. You must look into that. Then you must look at your diet only based on your constitution. Time is coming up now that every individual must have the diet 90% based on their constitution, based on the season in which you are. And then you need to look at your lifestyle also, because based on your constitution, your lifestyle, your exercise plan has to be structured which are more compatible for you. Don't just think that I need to look like skinny mini. Not everyone can look skinny mini. You must accept where your body mass and all the structure has to come up. So that is the simple advice I can give you in a simple way. I know it's such a big complex subject and very concerning, because that is where I thought I will share with all of you, because this is becoming now, it is a huge issue, and we must all think, and especially my advice and my call is to all the practitioners of different modalities, Western medicine, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic practitioner, that must come together and look for how we can create something more concrete, more sustainable approach for our people who are really seeking and desperate to get some right advice. And that is why when I see client in my clinic, they always will come up with such a big bag full of this supplement, and wherever they go, they are being bombarded by 7, 8 supplement. Whether they are talking about omega-6 and omega-9 and omega thing and fish oil, all those different kind of, and then more and more are new, what we call as nutraceuticals products are coming up. While these products you want to say that yes, they are doing good to me, again I don't want to take into that much and much more, but we need to understand that those kind of supplements or medicines are of no use if you don't work on your core cause of this problem. And core cause is your lifestyle, your diet, and diet need to be appropriate, and then your metabolism, and then on top of that is your state of mind, your mental state, your emotional state, and those need to be worked out. And that's what my advice is. I know all of you are in a festive season and enjoying your holidays, so but still I feel that this is becoming a real big issue, so I thought I will share while you are enjoying your holidays. But don't let your health be compromised and ignored, and must listen, and hope this message can give you, if not to totally alter your life, which I'm not advising. I'm not asking anyone to give up everything and go to Himalaya, but what I'm advising is strike a balance. Balance is the key. So let's make a New Year commitment, if you want to make a commitment, that we need to learn how to create a balance in our life at every aspect. And balance is only going to come up when you incorporate Ayurvedic advice. No kind of meditation, no kind of yoga, no kind of supplement can give you that balance until you incorporate Ayurvedic principle. And this is not because of the ego that I am an Ayurvedic practitioner. That's a reality of the life. Even if you talk to a yoga practitioner, and why I brought the yoga component, because yoga and Ayurveda are sister science. They never have been separated. They work together. They have to be for our whole population, communities, for the well-being, and that is what Ayurveda and yoga is. But for our selfish interest, we have taken yoga totally into an asanas form and trying to make people fool that yes, these asanas can give you that health. No, until you incorporate the other complete 8 limbs of yoga, health will be eluding all of us. So let's make whatever has happened in the past happen. Let's make a New Year's commitment, but at the same time, those who you feel are more prone toward these issues of heart attack, or some issues are happening with their heart conditions, whether it's blood pressure or high cholesterol, you should be able to advise them, give them some direction that they must start following Ayurvedic lifestyle and the advice. Thanks everyone, and wish you all the best for the new year.